What we want to do today is we want to look at one strategy. Yesterday I've told you, that could be your strategy itself. Whenever you have whatever I've told you yesterday doesn't necessarily have to happen at 9:15 or 9:20. It can happen anytime in the day. For example, today was a beautiful case when the price suddenly, or rather call sellers suddenly gave up and put sellers were very, very strong. And it looked evident that the price would continue to move upwards when call sellers actually gave up. And that was during this candle. And then it was evident that it would definitely move and try to target 25,000 once again, because 25,000 was the almighty power for Nifty, just not able to pass that. But then it was evident that it would probably travel to 150. So at about, if you look at 11.3, you would notice that 11.3 they had kind of given up. So suddenly everything opened up at that time. It doesn't necessarily have to happen in the morning. I told you in the morning so that I thought it will be a little easy for you to find out those scenarios. They were very, very strong. 11.3, 11.4. Suddenly they gave up. 1.3 million at 24,800, 800k at 24,800. So then the path was easy. It was evident that they are basically trying to go at least up to 950 to 500. So you had your 100 points because they were losing. I told you yesterday, you cannot look at just this picture and say that okay, reds are still strong. They are basically leaving their positions as the price tries to push upwards. They obviously would look more weaker and weaker, and that is what would happen if you look at, see, now it looks even more weaker, right? The only guy who looks very strong is 25,000, right? Everything else looks weak. It is very evident that the price would push up to 25,000 at least. That is evident just by looking at this at 11.07, let's say. Scenarios like that would happen frequently, extremely frequently. So you should be ready to, again, if you look at the data on a full day, just sit and analyze the data. There'll be many days where an opportunity would be present where you can easily say, 100 looks like is possible from here. So 850 to 900 is easy. Forget 800. I'm talking about 850 to 950 is basically possible, and it went to 25,000 anyways. So you had your 150, 100, 150 points during that time. But irrespective, what we want to do today is we want to look at another strategy, and the strategy is basically triangles. We have triangles in the platform, right? So there are two kinds of markers we have. One is triangles and other one is bubbles. We most likely will get rid of the bubbles because that is, these bubbles more or less they are causing confusion. So we'll most likely get rid of these bubbles. The other, marker we have is triangles. So these are the triangles. Triangles actually play a very, very important role. And what we want to do is we want to see if triangles can help us and if we will be able to take trades using triangles. And what happens if we take triangle? Again, in the context of can we achieve our 100% through triangles? If not entirely through triangles, but can it help us get to that our 100% target? How easy, how difficult, what will happen? That's the thing that we want to basically look into. I want to go by the latest month. I don't want to go backward. I will leave it for you to find out in the previous month what has happened, but I want to go with the latest month and see if triangles basically help me achieve my target of 100%. Let's say for the month of May, I have seen that it has basically, the first triangle has come on 7th May. Now understand that there are some months where triangles have come only 3-4 times. In some months we have got it 5, 6, 7 times. So the number of times we get triangles is nobody's, can be anybody's guess. We don't create them purposefully. That kind of a scenario happens only then these triangles gets created. So for example, on this day, the triangle got created. The definition of the triangle is it creates on days when you have got a extremely huge pressure, buy pressure or sell pressure. If you have a buy pressure, it creates a blue triangle, and if it has a sell pressure, it creates a pink triangle. Okay, simple. Sell pressure, pink triangle, buy pressure, blue triangle from the bottom, pink triangle from the top. If it comes at the top, that means you are looking for put entries. If it comes at the bottom, you are looking for call entries. As simple as that. What happens with the triangles is it comes when, we have not seen that kind of a volume on other days. So there is a volume threshold that we work with. If we see that there is a huge amount of volume that comes basically on any day, then we say that, okay, that's when we mark it and we'll say it as triangles. And because of that, they're extremely effective. Now let's see how do we trade. Especially when I take trades, whenever I see a triangle, I immediately take a trade. At 9:15 itself, I take a trade. Because this is a blue triangle, at 9:15 itself, I would go ahead and I would say that, okay, I want to buy. Call buy is what I'm looking at if I'm a buyer. Irrespective of how the scenario looks, at 9:15, I'm willing to take a position. And then I want to observe the scenario as I go forward. I don't want to just leave it there. I want to execute this with you so that I can explain to you as to what kind of targets we would achieve and what is that we are looking at. So I've also explained you the 5-point rule, right? The entry with the triangle is very simple. We just take an entry at 9:15. Even though the situation does not look extremely favorable, we will take it and then we will analyze analyze it for the next 2-3 minutes and see if it turns into favor or if it doesn't turn favorable at all. So that is what we will try to do. Now at 9:15, if I take a trade, 350 is the ATM strike. Let's say that I'm only taking an ATM strike. Okay. Now what is the price? I would like somebody to make a note of it so that we can figure out as to what kind of targets we are achieving. At 9:15, if I immediately take an entry, I'm getting it at 86.45 or 87 rupees. Let's say that I got my entry at 87 rupees. Once I get an entry at 87, then next candle, the important thing with triangles is because there is so much of a buy pressure, usually once the triangle candle is formed, it will try to push the price in that direction. It will try to push the price upwards. And you can observe this. It pushed. That means if you get one or two good candles after the triangle candle, you are confident that the price is, it will definitely try to push the price for at least next 100 points, 50, 100, depending on which day, what kind of day it is. It will definitely try to push it for, in my experience, it has more or less, always try to push at least 100 points. The second candle is green. I'm confident, I'm happy. And when I'm taking the trade also, I'm trying to see that if I can go up to 450 at least. Okay. Because 500 is, in the month of May, 500 has always been a nemesis. It just didn't give up. God knows why. This we are talking on what? See, 7th onwards itself, look at how 500 has been. So 24,500 has a huge call sellers. I am looking to go maximum at 24,450. That is my target. I don't think it can go beyond that. 450 also looks a little difficult. But then I just want to continue to see what will happen. 450 I think is still possible because they are building up deep. So I think 450 is possible. And if I continue, this is not a very challenging day. Although price came down a little bit at 921, we still can see that it still has potential to go up to 450. And then it placed one candle here and there and it went to 450. You have your target achieved. Beyond 450, you are not interested to go. If you even book your profits at that point also, this has been an extremely easy day. We are looking at from 87, it went all the way up to 150. But let's say that we close somewhere at 130. Obviously, we can't close at top. We would wait for at least a few candles. If you are good with your trades, you know that beyond that it is not possible. You will try to keep your stop loss, trailing stop loss as close to this as possible. If you close at 150, 140, well and good. But for our benefit, we'll take 130. So 87 to 130. What kind of returns we can expect? This was easy. Anybody could have done it. The same with the platform itself. It was very, very easy. Now, can anyone tell me that this was not possible for me to capture on that day? Easy for everybody, right? The fourth chart is telling you, the first chart is telling you, they're all giving you good indication that the price essentially has potential to move up to 450 and you went up to 450. 87 to 130, right? That is where we closed. So 87 to 130, what is the kind of percentage we are looking at? I think more or less about 50%, 49-50% I think we are looking at. Correct. First day of May when we got triangle, we got our 50%. I just need one more triangle to make another 50% and my job is done for the month, isn't it? But let's see what happens. There will be days when this will be negative as well. There's nothing that is 100% guaranteed, isn't it? So our job is to trade carefully. But I'm happy that beginning of the month I've got my 50%. Now I'm looking at another 50%. All right. This is clear, isn't it? There's no confusion here, isn't it? Ideally, it is supposed to come between 9:15 to 9:16. Let's say that is the period. We ourselves have never seen it beyond, at 9:16. Let's say. So it will not come in the second half of the time. It's only in the morning hours is where we measure this. But then this was an easy day, of course. But then we will also have difficult days. So we would want to understand, how would it work on other days. So I will run through the entire month of May, so it becomes a little easy for you. Okay, let's look at 7th May we have done. Then let's say 9th May is where another triangle has come. Now remember we have done our 50%, okay? In the month of May our 50% is done. Now 9th May, let's see what happened. 9th May, we again got another triangle. The problem actually, all triangles are like that. Whenever we get triangle, the price obviously moves significantly. We don't get triangles usually with small candles. But then here, it went from about 930 or 920, it went all the way up to almost close to 150. So it has moved 50, 100, 150, almost 200 points it moved, which is fine. I am still looking to take entry at 9:15. Let's say that at 9:15 we take an entry and looking like puts are there. So why should I have a problem? I would let the price anyways move on from there. So once we take an entry, first candle, it is a massive candle, that's fine. Our entry is basically 277. Okay, 277, 278, although it was a red candle. So more or less you would get at 277. The next candle was red. So 277 shouldn't be challenging. Yeah, so 277 is where we take an entry. Now, I told you that triangles are extremely powerful. So what happens whenever a triangle comes? Ideally, it tries to push the price up. Okay, so when it is trying to push the price up, that means that we can continue to stay in that position and we can say, okay, fair enough. I think I have triangle is working for me on that day and I'll continue. If you see a decent red candle closing inside the 915 candle. I'm always skeptical about it. I think that probably it has come to a stage where it has come to a resistance place or something like that, and hence it is not able to move from there. So whenever I get a decent, not large, but decent red candle closing inside the first candle, I am not very confident about it, and I'll try to exit as quickly as possible. And even if you look at 916, there's still power. The question now is, should I exit immediately at 916 or should I try to exit the structure? It is giving me confidence that, okay, even if I don't make money, I want to exit at least at cost, or at least give up a brokerage of 1.3 rupees if you are a buyer, let's say, right? 1.3, 1.5 rupees is what it would usually cost per lot. If you're taking more than one lot, it will come down. So if you're taking one lot, 1.3 rupees is what you would pay as a brokerage. So if you're taking entry at 270 or something like that, then I would like to close one rupee at least above that. ATM strike was 100. So I would look at, my price is 277. It closed here. One green candle has come. Now I'm looking to close at 277. So 280, not more than that. I'm not looking to make any money on this. So if I can even get to 280, I think I'll be happy. And I've got my exit at 280, and I'll say, okay, I'll close this because this has covered a significant distance, and that the price didn't push from there. I'm not interested. I have got enough chances to close my trade at 280 because the amount of buy pressure was there. I've got enough chances to close my trade at 280. So let's say that day we didn't make any money. No profit, no loss, 0%. Fine. Anyone, any questions now? It is very simple. If I have got a triangle and if the price is trying to push upwards, I'll stay. I'll look for my 100 points, 200 points, whatever it is. If as soon third candle it tries to close inside, a red candle tries to close inside, I realize that I have a resistance, and then depending on how this is looking, I would like to at least exit at cost. But if this is looking extremely red, then I would like to close as quickly as possible, even if it is at loss, and I would want to exit. We're good with this, right? So 7th May we got our 50%, 9th May we didn't get our money, so we exited at cost. No profit, no cost. Even cost is also covered. Happy, done. Let's move on. Let's look at 12th May. 12th May also we've got a triangle, and let's see what we would achieve on 12th May. A blue triangle, happy. Okay, it has come from bottom. A blue triangle was there at 9:15. Now this is another interesting scenario. Okay, 9:15. I want to take triangle is there. I will take a trade irrespective of what happens here. I told you reds are strong, but because there is a blue triangle here, I will always go for a call buy. So 24,500 is my range. 24,500. I'm trying to take a call buy. What price did I get into? I got it 147. Please remember, you can write it down yourself. We got it 147, 24,500. Now comes the interesting part. Now this is actually kind of red. Okay, then whatever rule I have told you, if the buy pressure is there, it should try to push the price up. The second candle, I have got all the confidence that I really needed. So 916, if I look at it, it didn't give me confidence. From here, it didn't give me confidence. But then I knew that there is some buy pressure. I would like to continue at least till 24,600 is what I'm thinking. Right now, I don't know the level. 24,600 at least I should go is what I'm thinking right now. But if I just continue like that, now I am a little more confident, saying that, okay, greens are basically there. I know that at this level 300k is there, but looks like green have still, they have built a little more. If I just continue to look at the price, 2 more minutes and you have got all the clarity you needed. Now the level looks like 24,700. Calls have given up and puts have basically are showing their power, right? So looks like 24,700. Yesterday's class we have understood this. I had no reason to exit because as soon as I took the trade, I was in profit because the triangle did its magic and pushed the price up. 920 is here. I had no reason to exit till 920. At 920, I had the confidence to continue. Now my new range is up to 700 at least. So, and the price actually happily went. There was no reason for you to panic anywhere. And the price did go to 700 and your level is basically 700. It could have gone further up. It doesn't matter. But my range was 700. Even if you exited 700, I think the price went further up. But forget it. Even if you don't capture, if you are a good trader, if you are able to capture the uptrend, well and good. But it went to 700. And then when it comes back to 700, I would like to exit. Let's say somewhere about 1002. I'm happy to exit. I don't want to continue. 1001, 1002, I want to exit. What is the price we have got? 1001, 1002 is what I'm trying to exit. 147, 1001, 1002. Basically, we are trying to exit at 311. 147 to 311. What's the kind of percentage we got? 147 to 311. It has to be more than 100, 110%, let's say. So 3 trades. Now tell me anybody, did you not have confidence to go up to 24,700? If you have any doubts, let's review it again. I have shown you why I built my confidence, why I went ahead with the trade, why I didn't close at 916 or 917, and why I went ahead till 24,700. you could obviously continue. I'm not looking at 500. I'm not saying that you could have happily gone up to 500 and all that. Let's be practical about it. If you are in the trade, more or less you would exit at 300 somewhere, 300, 311. I think you would happily exit because you have got your 100%. You want to secure your 100%. If not 110%, you would at least want to take your 100% at least. So if you have got 100% in the trade, you're happy, right? So 110% if you have achieved, you would want to exit. You want to safeguard that. Let's forget all of that. If you are able to get this, more than happy. If you look at the data, it will tell you that day, they were not even in the they were not there. 1002, 1003, they were not there. It was evident that they would basically just keep pushing because there was no serious pressure or serious threat from any side. Maybe you could have continued, but then let's not look into that. Practically speaking, if you continue, it was easy for us to continue till 10 o'clock, 10:02. We want to exit. Even if you exit there, I'm saying you are getting your 100%. Now, anyone has any doubt that if this happens to you in real time, would you be able to capture? Would you be able to take your 100% returns according to this day? Doesn't mean that every time it will be like this. Would you have waited and captured till 24/700 or not? If anyone has any doubts that they wouldn't be able to continue till that level, you let me know now. Again, I'm giving you data-driven decision making. I am not telling you my own style of trading. I am not telling you, oh, because price is like this, I would have done like this, right? I'm telling you why you should continue, why I'm taking a trade. First, I'm telling you how I go about taking a trade. And then you didn't have a reason to exit till 9:20. And by 9:20, it was evident that call seller had given up. So you had no reason to exit after that. You could have easily continued up to 24/700. Like I said, if you are a even better trader than me, you would have probably continued. But let's say you would only exit at that point, you would still be able to capture your 100%. Now, for the month of May, we had our 150%, correct? I'm more than that. I think first one was about 50%. This one is about 110%, 150, 160% we have achieved. All good? Everybody agrees? Yeah, so buyers were there that day. From futures point of view, it was evident that the buyers were very, very strong. So that is another confidence you can take in. And then second is you could just continue to trade at least till 937, 938. After that, I told you when this falls, there's no reason to exit at that point in time. Let's say 943. I'm not sure if you have seen 943, but let's see. Do you think you would be worried and you would exit at this stage? That's what I'm saying. So even this particular difference also puts were strong. So you would continue. If you continue, then you would at least go until 1004, 1005, 1006, this stage. Why would you exit there? Because you have achieved your 100%. You want to safeguard your 100%, right? And the moment you see a little bit of sideways also, you want to exit, obviously. You want to capture your 100% and continue. So even the trend line also helped you to continue, at least till 10 o'clock, right? All combinations, if you look at it also, it will definitely help you to go up to 24/700. Forget 100%. Why are we sticking to 100%? Even if you get 90%, if it hits your 90% stop loss, fine, right? It doesn't have to be 100, 110%, but even if you have got 50, 90 to 100%, it is a huge thing for that day, correct? Let's go on. I would look at another day, 13th May. I actually wanted to cover two strategies. I don't think I would be able to cover, but this is good. We are doing this because at least if you have got any questions, most of your questions should be answered here, okay? So basically the rule is simple. I always take an entry. If I have a triangle, I take an entry at 9:15. Because this is a blue triangle, I'll take a call entry. If it is pink triangle, I'll take a put entry, put buy. Since most of us are buyers, so I'll just talk about buy language. This is basically, at 9:15. Morning, first candle only triangle comes. 9:15 trade, we don't do anything other than 1 minute. We only look at 1 minute. In our platform, we don't have the concept of time frame at all. Everything is 1 minute. We don't look at 3 minute, 5 minute. That concept itself is non-existent for us. We only look at 1 minute because we don't look at price action. That is why we don't feel the necessity to look at 3 minutes and 5 minutes. But in case if you want to, we would always recommend you to use something like TradingView and all that for your price action. Because for us volumes are critical, so we always look at volumes and based on that we want to take our decision. So we are done with 12th May and we are at somewhere, let's say about 150, 160%. Okay, good. Now let's look at 13th May. We have one more triangle that has come on 13th May. Let's see what happens on 13th May. On 13th May, now we have got a blue triangle. Okay, this is good. Okay, because this is important. We can't have all positive scenarios, right? We'll have to have negative scenarios also, correct? Yeah. 9:15, we obviously take an entry. That's our rule. We don't change our rule. I will never change my rules. I will always stick to my rules because if it works over a period of time, it has to work over a period of months and years also. So as usual, I will take my entry and my close is 190. So I have taken an entry at 190. Okay, done. Now, once I take an entry at 190, I always look at second candle. I told you, I will always look at second candle. It is not a very confidence boosting candle, but still it is green. fine, happy about it. Then comes a big red candle which closes inside the first candle. Now this is where I'm not very happy about. Whenever I look at trades like this, I'm not happy about a trade like I'm not happy about this. Ideally, I would like to exit here, but then I would also want to take a confidence from this guy 917. Okay, and also I'm looking at this negative. This is going negative. It was positive, but it is basically coming down. The difference is basically coming down. And here at 25,000, I've got a massive call sell pressure. So even if I continue, I know that it is impossible for it to cross 25,000. Everyone agrees, because they have built just in 2 minutes, they have built almost 500k, and they are the strongest of all if you look at it here. So I'm not confident about it at all, but I'll give you benefit of doubt. Assume that you don't close there. Next candle at 918, you are definitely closing it. Even if you consider low as your exit, at 918 you are definitely exiting. You cannot continue after 918. Okay, so ideally at 917 you should exit, but let's say we are humans, we have hope that it might reverse, but looking at this, there is absolutely no chance for you to say that it will probably reverse or it will go beyond this. So we should ideally exit at 917, but let's say that we exited at 918. Okay, now what was our entry? 950, right? So at 918 if we exit also, that's fine. The strategy should work over a period of long hours, even with a little bit of this thing. So let's see if it works for us or not. 190 was our entry, and 150, let's say we exited. From 190 to 150 we exited. Okay, what is our loss? If we look 190 to 150, can somebody quickly tell me what is the loss percentage? We have lost about 20%, 21%, right? Agree? 21% is what we have lost. You know that on negative days what would happen? Ideally, if you close at the 917 candle, your loss would be a little less. But even if you hope that one more reversal comes, I'll try to exit at cost. But then looking at what happened at 25,000, the previous day when I exited on cost, I told you that I had confidence that the price should ideally push up because puts were there. But on this day, puts were not there. The call was very, very strong at 25,000. So ideally I had all the reasons to exit at 180. But I'm saying don't worry at all. Even if you exited the next candle also, absolutely fine. 150 if you exit also, no problem. Let's take that loss. 21% loss, no problem at all. Where do we stand now? We had almost 50%, 110, 112%, and we have got another 21%. So we're still at somewhere close to 140%, isn't it? Positive 140% for the month of May, right? Let's look at the last day. One more day we had got, that is on 19th May. We have got a blue candle, brilliant, a red candle, and we have got a triangle. So I'll definitely buy. So 915, it is even better, right? On a red candle, it is asking us to buy. I will buy. Why wouldn't I? So at 915, if we buy 25,000, what is the entry we are getting? Again, somebody please note, we are getting buy call, buy indication. So 162 is where we buy. And then the next candle is important. If the next candle is triangle again, it looks like the price is trying to go further down. Okay, but look at what happens on the fourth chart. If the fourth chart is giving you confirmation that it is definitely going to, the trend and fourth chart are giving you confidence that the price should definitely reverse, don't panic. Don't immediately leave if one more red candle comes. But then again, these are the two charts that should tell you. Blue triangle has come. If you have got a green candle and then you've got a red candle that is closing inside, you obviously will be worried. But if the first candle itself is red, it is very good because it is giving you the best price. You are entering at a very good price, a cheaper price rather. And then if you get 2-3 more red candles, you build your confidence based on this. Don't immediately get frightened. So I think there is probably a day or two where you would get scenario like that. Also, I would like you to explore and find out scenarios like that. But at 916, I'm happy. First candle itself, it has moved. At 916, it looks like I am willing to go up to 2550 for sure. 25100 also maybe. But then little bit of built up is there. We will continue to see what happens. I'm happy to continue. 50 we have reached. 100, is it possible? They are building basically 300k, 370k is something they are building. Maybe still possible. 156k versus 376k. Maybe still possible. But then as soon as they start building more, I'm not very happy with how this is going. So at 920, when it tries to push back, I know there is still power here. Okay, when this is basically trying to build 500k, 500,000k and all that. And I know that there is still buy power. So now I am looking to exit, but I'm looking to exit at my preferential price. Now, what is my preferential price? I'll tell you that. And this is something that I follow frequently. My entry was here, right? 162. And then the price immediately 3 candles, it went all the way high up to, the high was 205. But for practical reasons, I'll take 200 as my position. And then the price took a rejection. It came back and it took a rejection again at 920 or something like that we had seen. But because puts were there, I would always count on it for me to get back to my previous range at least, which is if not the high, somewhere close to 200. And I would like to close my trade at somewhere close to 200. You had enough opportunities for you to close it in that range. You wouldn't exit here. Believe me, I wouldn't exit at 918. I would be wrong. I would be lying if I tell you 918. I had no reason to exit at 918. But at 920, they started started building up. I don't know, I don't remember exactly what time I had shown you, but at 920, 922, 923, I think we have seen that they were building up. That is the time where I would say, okay, most likely they are becoming stronger. Let me secure whatever profits I have got. So I would like to see if I can exit at least at 200 price range. If you can do that, it is a very good trade. Even if you exit at somewhere at 180, between 195, 200 is also fine. 190 is also fine, not a problem. You would obviously exit at profit. Okay, the day wouldn't be a loss for you. You would obviously exit at profit. I would personally somewhere try to secure my profit as quickly as possible. So I would like to close it somewhere close to 200. If we do that, we still obviously have got somewhere close to some 20%. Let's say that 15-20% at least you would easily get. So you're closing the month at somewhere about 150-160% easily, which is the month of May. All you had done is, and the month of May is not done yet. If you get another 3-4 days, if you get one more triangle and if it goes in our favor, brilliant. You have overachieved your targets for the month of May. Now, usually with triangles, I don't spend this much time. I just tell you saying that triangles are good. I show 2-3 examples and I tell you to please continue, look at triangle and tell me whether you would make profits with triangle or not. The reason I did it because I understood that a lot of you understand triangles are good, but you don't know how to continue or where to exit. So which is why I thought it is important for me to talk through as to what do I do? When do I worry that I probably don't have a favorable trade? And where do I exit? How do I exit? Those are the things I would look at. Even on this day, I did not immediately exit when it came down. Why? Because puts were there. They were extremely strong. So I said, let it go back to my previous high and I will try to exit. That is the reason I said 200. The reasons I gave you are all based on data. I'm not telling you a hunch. I'm not saying, oh, I would have definitely closed at 200. It is important that you look at data. Let data tell you what you want to do. Okay. Based on that, if you take your trades, you are more or less going to be in the same range that I was, for example, if I was trading these things in live. Okay. Now, anyone who has questions so far, we can definitely discuss. Okay. Now for the month of May, we don't have anything beyond 19th May. We only had till 19th May. But then for April, you had only 3 days. For March, you only had 3 days. Okay. So if you look at the data for April and March, for the month of April, I don't know if you would be able to make, 100%. If you're a good trader, if you're able to look at the data properly, you would probably get your 100%. But if not, you would easily get your 70%, 70 to 80% for sure. Because only I want you to explore it yourself with whatever I have told you. If you just continue with the same logic, I want you to find out what happens in the month of April, what happens in the month of March, if possible February and January, because those were the months where you had got more number of triangles. Okay. Now, if you just go by triangles, you are able to, for a particular month, you are able to overachieve your target. And then there are 1 or 2 months where you will probably underachieve. You will not hit your 100%. Only triangle based if you go by, you'll probably make 70% in a month, in another month maybe 60%. But the other months, you are easily able to overachieve it. So on an average, if you take triangles, you should easily be able to cover your 100% target over a 1 year period if you look at it on an average. That is something that is definitely possible. Again, look at January, February, March, April, you will get that confidence. If you don't, I'm here to look into it and I can tell you where it went wrong or how I would basically go looking into the data and all that. Okay. My sincere request for all of you is please go back, look at triangles, do your own analysis the way I have done it today. I have taken all the trades at 915 with triangle, profit or loss, it doesn't matter. At 915, I took a trade. So there is no guesswork here. At 915, you are anyways taking a trade. It doesn't matter if it is profitable or loss making. And then you are reviewing your decision at 916, 917, or worst case till 918. If it goes against you, you are trying to exit at 916, 917, or 918. But if it pushes up in your direction, you will try to continue to capture, if possible, at least 100 points. For triangle, like I said, triangle only comes at 915. So if you are trying to trade using triangle, you will only get one trade. There are other strategies. We'll obviously discuss other strategies as well. If you want to just trade triangles, okay, I know there are people who trade triangles. In our community itself, there are people who trade purely by triangles. 915, they look at it. If they get a triangle, they trade. Otherwise, they just leave. Okay. So we are basically working with them to see how we can train them with other strategies and all that. So slowly they are trying to, adapt. They have their own strategies is what they said. And they said historical data we saw. We loved how the kind of accuracy we had with the triangles. So we would like to go with triangles. So I said, fine. But then we obviously will introduce more strategies to you. You will obviously understand more ways of taking trades. The idea is I do not want to overfeed the number of strategies or give you too many strategies. The idea is to give you as few strategies as possible, good ones that you can use to trade and take confident positions, and you should be able to achieve your 100% or 10% targets. That's all that we are trying to do. If you are able to achieve your targets with whatever strategies I am telling, you just have to repeat it it for a few months, for a few years, you would definitely be in a much better situation and you'll be obviously an extremely successful trader. That is the whole idea. So from that point of view, I think triangle basically is helping us achieve our targets. But then I'm not saying we'll only take triangles. We had the 100-point strategy as well. I'll explain another strategy to you tomorrow. We will see how that strategy helps as well. So we can combine 2 or 3 strategies that I'm going to explain. Whichever works in your favor, those 2 or 3 strategies should easily be able to give you your 100% to 10%. 100% as a buyer, 10% as a seller. That is the targets we had. Okay. Now, any other questions? Anyone thinks that what I have shown you today is not possible in real time? On the other hand, do you all agree that you yourself would be able to achieve this kind of a target in the month of May? If you had given the same scenarios again in the month of May, how many of you can confidently say that, yeah, somewhere close to that kind of a target we can easily achieve? Anyone? Good. I'm happy. I'm happy that I was able to communicate a clear rules and not giving you my own understanding as such. So I'm happy that you are able to follow. I'm happy that you are able to understand, which is more important. So if you got the confidence, please, again, just because I've told you how it works, don't assume that that's all there is to it. If you look at January, February, March month, all the remaining data, right, you will get a few slightly different scenarios. I told you red candle, blue triangle, it might go further down. But if you have confidence to continue, don't exit. You will get the confidence if you look at it, the trend line and futures trend line and this fourth chart. If you look at it, you will get that confidence. It is about you applying yourself. So the assignment for today is look at historical data, go back to April at least. Okay. Look at April and look at March. I have data of April. I will try to execute and I will try to see what would I achieve if I had achieved in the month of March, and I'll try to do it for February also and January as well. I want you to come back and tell me what kind of returns you would probably achieve in the month of March, April, February and January if possible. If not, at least 2 months. April and March, I want you to definitely do it and come back and tell me what kind of returns you would have achieved. If you have time, please do it for all the 4 months because that will give you a lot of confidence. Yeah. So the strategy that you just said, I will explain to you tomorrow as to how do I go about taking the right entry and why do I wait in certain scenarios in taking an entry and so on. I'll explain that to you tomorrow. All right.